Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Sergio Martínez. I've been SAP developer for almost 20 years, and recently I'm more into integration, especially with Boomi and SAP. I'm CTO of Code10. We are an international consulting company specializing in the technical area of SAP and also in integrating systems. So today we're going to focus in one of our favorite tools developed by Boomi, that is called Boomi for SAP. Okay, this tool is an add-on. It's an add-on that is installed in the core of SAP, so it's installed as a normal SAP add-on, and it's used from the backend. Okay, although we will see that it has a very nice UI and it is very powerful. So let me show you a little bit what Boomi for SAP is. Okay, as I said, it's an add-on that can help you accelerate SAP integrations with Boomi and lower the cost of development and the development hours by hundreds. Okay, it's very useful and it's integrated into the core of SAP. So for normal SAP developers and integration developers, it will be like very straightforward to work with this add-on. And it's also thought for that business users are capable of easily accessing SAP data and SAP functionalities without having deep knowledge. Okay, we could say it's a low-code, no-code tool for data integration in SAP. Okay, so let me show you quickly how to open this from an S4HANA system. Of course, I have to say this add-on is compatible with ECC and with S4HANA, and it helps companies transition with the movement to S4 to move the data to the new system and to migrate everything. Okay, so let me open our SAP system. Okay, this is an S4HANA version 2022, and to open Boomi for SAP is very easy. Also, I will not mention here, but the installation of Boomi for SAP is pretty straightforward. It's an add-on. You have the files, you install it into the SAP system, and it's ready to work. Okay, so let me open the UI. Okay, we have it here. This is the UI. Okay, as you can see, it's a web UI. So even if it's run in the backend, it's deployed as a web service and a website. And here we can access all the different functionalities. Okay. So to start from the beginning, we have different type of services here in Boomi for SAP. We have table services that we will go more into detail there, but basically it lets you create a data model from your SAP system using normal SAP tables and CDS views from S4HANA, join them and create your own data model that you want to publish or you want to integrate with other systems. Okay, function modules, pretty straightforward as well. This is to publish your own function modules, no matter if they are RFC or they are normal function modules, to be able to be consumed by external tools directly. So it allows you to publish them as an API, so you can consume them directly and in an easy way with a REST API. Okay. Events, we will go deeper into those later, but events is based basically on the concept of business object and chain pointers that are already existing in SAP, but it allows you for a very easy management of this business object and chain pointers. What do we do here? We listen to these events, listen to these chain pointers, okay, and immediately send the message or the event to whatever system that we need them to consume. Okay, IDOCs. Everybody knows IDOCs in SAP. We know how they work and how sometimes complex it is to send IDOC into the system, but with this it's very easy. What this does is publish your current IDOCs as REST APIs. So you can make a post event into this API and it will automatically post the IDOC into your SAP system. Okay. Then we have BW data structures, as the name indicates, is to consume this BW data structure from your ECC or your S4HANA system, okay, to be able to publish them and consume them from other tools like an ETL tool or directly into a data lake or whatever is the need. And then ABAP proxies, this is more like technical, but we know that SAP was always integrating with PIPO with an ABAP proxy. Okay, so ABAP proxies can be reused in this case to be published as well as REST APIs, so we can consume them with a more modern approach, more web-based approach than in the past. Okay, so this is the basic 6 functionalities that, believe me, they help a lot with your normal daily development tasks. Okay, so let's start with I will showcase just a couple of them. We'll start with the main one, the main attraction, and my favorite personally, that is the table services. Okay, so what does the table services do? Okay, it allows you, as I said before, to create a data model that you think is the one that you need for your needs. Okay, so let it load the SAP tables and the CDS views. So as you can see, it's a very visual UI, and we will see now when it finishes loading. Okay, now we have it. So here we can search for tables, for CDS, for whatever we need. For example, we're gonna go by technical name of the table. As you know, VBAC is the table of sales orders. Okay, so we want to extract the system sales orders. Okay, but maybe we don't want to extract all the fields of the tables. We only want a specific set of fields. So we will go to the filter and we will select only the fields that we need. Okay, so for example, I will select the sales order, the creation date. Here we have a very nice search box, so we can look for the customer, the sole to party. Okay, let's see let's put also the sales organization. Okay, so here we have our data from the sales order. Okay, now maybe what we want to do is also to get the customer name, because we have the customer but not the customer name. So we will go to the customer table, KNA1, and we will drag and drop easily. Okay, and then the same way we will filter. We want the customer ID, the country, and the name, for example. So what we do now, we need to join them. Okay, so very easy. We will click on the field we want to join. And as you can see, it will propose the technical matches for the same domain. So if it's green means that the same domain, so we will match to this field. Okay. So we can make it even more complex, but for what we want, it will do. Okay. So immediately after we have created the data model, we can immediately go and view data. Okay, we can even view data in a different NFC connection. So if you want to test with your quality data or your production data, you can test directly from here with our NFC connection. In this case, we will do it with the local system. So we test local, and then we can already see our data model here, what it will extract, and the fields, and etc. everything. Okay, so we can use it as a first step to end up our data model. Okay, so once we are happy with it, then we can configure. Okay, we will choose a service name, demo, a description. Here we can use 2 different modes, productions and local. Okay, production, what it will do, it will allow you to select a transport request to move it to your next quality and production system. In this case, we're going to use local, so it will remain in our development system. And then you can also choose authorization objects that will allow some users to use this data model and some users to not use it. So then we are done. We are already created a service. It is here. It tells you which tables you're using, the description, the number of fields. Here you can open the details to see what are you selecting for each table. Then here you can also view the data. Okay, the same as we did before. And here's very interesting. Okay, because you want, as I told you before, this is going to be published as a REST API. Okay, so you can go and see the API definition in standard Swagger format. Okay, so here you can see that this is a standard definition for an API in Swagger format. Spec. So if we change, instead of spec, we put read. Okay, we will do a query and it will show all our data. Okay, we can add filters, we can add, because this is standard REST API. Okay, get query. So here we have easily, in 5 minutes, created one data model and published it as a REST API without any need for coding or any automation or anything. So now what you can do with the URL, so you can just use it in your favorite system. Okay, you can consume directly with your data lake or whatever. In this case, what I'm gonna do is to showcase what Boomi can do with this. Okay, because this is important. Let me check, for example. Let me open one process. Okay, in Boomi, I will not show Boomi today, but this is what Boomi looks like. Okay. We will create an integration process. Okay, so what I will show is Boomi for SAP connector. Okay, we will choose our connection that we already have created. We will do a query and we will create an operation. So read sales orders. Okay, we will import our operation and next. So it will automatically show all the different table services that we have created in our system. So here we can see that we have ours, the one that we have created. Next. Finish. And here we can see all the fields that we have selected. And maybe in this integration that we are created, we don't need, for example, the country. So we can tell the system, okay, don't choose the country, don't get the country back. Or we can add filters. We can add filters to only show customers from Spain or whatever. So we save and close. Okay. So it has created our integration flow. Let's say that we will stop here, but here we could send to another system. Here we could save it to a database. We could save it as a file, whatever. Okay. So we will save, we will test. And as you can see, it will retrieve all the data that we have in SAP that we have just created a data model. And here you can see that we have received the JSON that we have generated in our Boomi for SAP. Okay, so this is specifically for the table services. Now I want to show just a quick example of what Boomi can do, and I think one of the other things that I like more is event. Okay, so we have here this event. What is the event? As I said before, so it's listening to business objects or to chain pointers in SAP system that they are already configured, or you can configure new ones. Okay, listening to them, and when it receives this event, it will trigger something. Okay, so here let me open this to see how it's configured. I will not configure from zero. I will show one existing one. Maybe it will take a little bit longer. But later I will show when it's loaded, okay? But what I will do now is to show how it is working in our SAP system. Okay, so for example, I will go to a sales order and I will change the sales order, this one. Okay, I will choose this demo I will change some data and save. Okay, I have changed my sales order. So now what it has happened is that it has triggered an event in the backend that can be either processed in real time and sent immediately, or our preference to send in batches every few minutes. Okay, so I will choose my subscription ID. Okay, here that's open. I will show it later. It will show, and then I will process my event. Okay, we should have a success. That's fine. So if we go back to our Boomi, okay, we will get to our reporting, and we will see that we have received an event a few seconds ago that is actually what we have changed in the sales order. Okay, so here we can open, and we can see that we are not doing anything at the moment with this data, but we can see that we have received the event call. So let me show now here. Okay, so when you create an event or a subscription, what is called a subscription, you choose your business object or your change pointer. You choose the actions that you want to trigger this event. Okay, in this case, it was change. You can choose if it's real time or batch. In this case, for example, when it's batch, whenever it reaches a certain amount, it will send. Okay. Then we continue. Deployment mode is the same as we talked before, local or production if you want to transport this. Then we define a receiver. You have different type of receiver. You can use, for example, Kafka or other event-driven architecture. In this case, we're gonna send by RFC. So we are gonna do an RFC call to an HTTP service, okay? And whenever we receive this event and we generate this event, it will do a post call to this web service, and it will send the data that we will define later. Okay, here we can see we have RFC destination, and we have created this RFC with our, in this case, in our Boomi web server URL. So we continue. Here we can define what do we want the subscription to be. Okay, this is our name. Then we have what do we want to send. We want to send an event. This is more related to event-driven architecture, but we want to send only the event saying, hey, this sales order has changed. Or you want to send the metadata, this sales order has changed and they have changed this field. Or you want to send the whole payload. In this case, we chose send the whole payload in JSON format. So every time that they change our sales order, we will send the whole payload. What payload they send? We send the whole PO? No, because here we have table service selection. So previously we have created a table service, as you saw before, and we're going to use this table service to define what we want to send in this event. So we link our table service with the key of the sales order, that is the VLN, and then it will go to this table service, retrieve it, and send the JSON payload to our target system. Okay, and then if we continue, then we have created a topic. The topic is basically the URL that we want to send it to. In this case, this is just specifying which URL /ws/simple/execute, blah blah blah. And with this, everything will be ready. Okay, so if we go back here, we can see that view. We can see that we have received the parent not yet. Let me refresh. Okay, we haven't received the payload yet. Okay, we haven't received the payload yet because it's checking on the system. But yeah, so let's say that here we want to go back and change, instead of that one, we want to select the table service that we have created before. Okay, so we will map it to the table that we need. Leave continue. Okay, and update. So now, instead of using the other table service that we had before, the VBAC, okay, that was only the VBAC table, we will use the one that we just created, that VBAC demo V4S, okay, that will show also the sales order data and the customer data. So if we do another change to the sales order, we will generate another event and process the subscription. Okay, and here in our middleware, we will have another call here that is the new call. Okay, I don't know why it's not loading the payload of the message, but here we could see the JSON payload that we have generated using our table service. Okay, I don't know what is happening, but yeah. So this is basically the two functionalities I wanted to showcase today. Of course, if you want to deep dive more, you can call us and we will have a demo for you. And yes, basically the table service can be used standalone or can be used using event to send this change data or created data, to send your deltas to your data lake or whatever you need. So thank you very much. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the chat. And yeah.
We do have one question. Do I need to already use Boomi to be able to use Boomi for SAP?
Okay, I don't know if you heard, but they're asking me if you really need to have already using Boomi to use Boomi for SAP. The answer is no. Okay, it can be used as a standalone add-on. Okay, but of course with Boomi it have its whole potential, but it can be used alone, and you can connect it with your desired tool, because at the end, what we said, and we said it many times, you are exposing your data as REST APIs. Okay, so you can consume them with whatever middleware you're using, or with Boomi to unlock their full potential, as we showed before with the table services connector. Do we have any more questions?
No, that was it.
Okay, so thank you very much. Nice that you all came here, and see you next time, and please call us if you need